Happy Saturday morning. I'm wearing a top you can't see because it's backwards. Well, unless you're very good at some type of verbal reasoning. It says it's okay to not feel okay, and on the back just says keep going, keep going, keep going, which my family bought me, which I love. So I've got that on today. So basically, after seeing the 4th neurologist, a few weeks later, I got an email from her saying, "Hi Natalie, just want to let you know I'm going to call you later today or tomorrow." I mean, it's very nice that she's done that. But then you are literally on eggshells every time your phone rings. First of all, she didn't call later. She didn't call the next day. She called the day after that. I knew she was going to call then, and it was at the worst time possible. And basically she just said, "Natalie, we've gone over the scans with the team and I'm really sorry, but we really think you have MS." You can imagine how I felt. I was like, sorry, what the hell? I said, "I don't understand." I said, "I'm so sorry. I had 2 neurologists that said MS. I had 1 neurologist that was adamant it was vasculitis. And now you're telling me that it could be MS. Firstly, have I literally lost out on 2 years of major treatment?" To which she said, "No, the treatment, the rituximab you've had, we have given to patients with MS and it had actually reduced the lesions by 50%. It's just stopped working now. And how can I possibly go?" I just couldn't get my head, I still can't get my head around it, that I've gone 10,000 steps forward and I'm now going 100,000 steps back. So then she says to me, "Well, how do you feel?" I mean, what? I know it's caring, but what a question. I was at a place where I didn't want to be when she rang. As in, it wasn't the right, not that I didn't want to be, it wasn't the right time for her to call. I was not in a headspace to be receiving that call. And how did I feel? I burst into tears and I just said, "I just feel so sad." And that's all I felt. I just felt so sad that had I completely messed up my life, and should I have gone with the first diagnosis? Like, you just don't know what to do. You think it's a great idea to get a second diagnosis, and then you're so convinced that you're on the right pathway, and then the goalposts completely change. So she said, "We're going back to the beginning." I was like, "You are joking." She goes, "I want to do an MRI scan with a contrast dye." And what the dye does is it makes the images a lot clearer. And that really pissed me off because I'd only had a scan a few weeks ago and I'd specifically asked them if I should have the dye and they'd said no. And I was like, "You're making me do this again when I could have had it done weeks ago." And she said, "I want to do a PET scan," which is a different type of scan, looks at your cells in your body, shows up inflammation in a different way. They do that a lot of the time with people with cancer and other illnesses, like chronic illnesses, because so last time I had it done, I had inflammation in my left thigh, so that's where they took a biopsy from. And she said she wants to do scans of my eyes, and I was like, well, I have had scans of my eyes and all the damage has been reversed and it seemed fine. She wants to do cognitive tests, and the last one was, I want to do another lumbar puncture. I was like, absolutely not in a million years are you doing a lumbar puncture. She goes, we have to, because that is the definitive test to find out if you have MS. But actually 2% of the population will have a lumbar puncture and the results will be negative, but you will still have it. You can guess that I'm going to be in that 2%. I said no. I said last time I was lying on my back for 3 months almost, because every time I lifted my head, I was just in agony. And it could be that they took too much fluid. So what they do is just put a, it's like an epidural, but once the needle's in, they extract fluid from around the brain to see how much protein is in it. She said, I will specifically ask that only a small amount of protein is taken. And I was like, no, 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 yes. So then very quickly, all my scans started coming through. And you guessed it, it happened during the week my kids were on half term. Not that, it wasn't just that. We were doing a trade show. It was a massive thing that we had worked for months for. We were all going as a family, and then we were spending a few days after in Sherwood Forest. And Mark had said to me, look, he'd actually said to me before, Natalie, I just think maybe the trade show is going to be too much for you. And I was like, no, it's going to be fine. And forgetting how hard shows are. So we decided that I wasn't going to go, and it was much more important that I was going to stay at home and have all the tests, and he was going to carry on the week with the kids so they had a bit of normality, because to bring them back because mummy has tests is unfair on them. You know, they're still small, they're still little. Well, they'll always be little to me, but you know, we still want them to have a life. So I've moved into my mum's because that's where we are at this point now in my journey. And at one point I had a scan for every day of the week, including gastric scans, because they check your kidneys and everything. And that was at a different hospital. I had 3 hospitals involved. And I was like, I can't do this. It was actually like an 11 plus maths, like a word maths problem question. You know, you get these ones that, well, if Natalie is having a PET scan on Monday, when can she have the next scan? Because if there's too much radioactive in the body, she can't then have the blood, and you have to work it all out. So I had to loz off 2 of the stomach scans, which I'm having in a couple of weeks. I had to loz off the PET scan, which I'm having next week. So I had Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. I had scans. Those videos are uploaded, so watch them. Because it really will give you an insight into things that maybe you didn't know about different scans if you've never had them. I'm staying at my mum's, obviously, because the kids were away, and I'm supposed to be lying flat. I've just sat up for a few minutes to talk to you guys. So it's been a really weird couple of weeks. And at the same time, I'm now doing a lot of research on MS. We're not 100% what it is, but I want to be prepared, because I want to be prepared so that I know what I'm dealing with. I mean, you never know what you're dealing with. The goalposts change the whole time. But I also want to be a little less surprised if she does say it's this. that I'm not going to think my world has changed even more. So that's where we are now. I've got 3 more scans over the next 2 weeks. And then I think we'll be done for scans for a while, unless I go into, unless I have any more symptoms, and then they'll immediately scan you. And I do think she's doing everything she's doing. But at the same time, Queen Square is the top neurology hospital. And I want to ask her, because I do have an appointment there in a few months. And I want to ask her if she actually thinks that I will get better care there. Whatever it is. So it's, yeah, that's all I've got to say. Just enjoy your Sunday. Really, really enjoy it with your family. And I shall speak to you soon. Thanks as always for listening. I always get such lovely messages from people I didn't even know, or I'm not close with, which makes it even more special. To either say they know someone who has it, or they have it, or that you would never know. And that's all I wanted to do. This isn't so much about me, it's the awareness around it. So thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon.